You're welcome to another episode of What We Wish Our Parents Knew. Emmanuel, what is our question for the week?
My parents never wait for me to finish talking. They jump into conclusions like me being pregnant, and they care more about their reputation.
Okay. Interesting, as usual. They don't wait for me to finish talking, they jump to conclusions, and one of their worries or concerns is that, or one of the conclusions they jump to, is that she might get pregnant. There are three different issues as far as I'm concerned here. One is you don't wait for her to finish talking. We consistently emphasize on What We Wish Our Parents Knew, the need for us to reinforce values. It is disrespectful for somebody to be talking and you keep cutting in and not waiting for the person to finish talking. Now, you're probably wondering, come on, Mrs. Babatunde, what are we talking about being disrespectful to our children? But let's not forget that we teach them values, not just by the things we say, but the things we mirror to them. So if they find out that we're consistently cutting in, and when they're talking or when other people are talking, then the chances are that they will do the same thing. It has nothing to do with the status or social standing of the person. It has to do with the fact that respect is one of our core values. So we need, for the sake of what it is that we're passing on, we need to be mindful about some of the disrespectful things we do because we feel, after all, it's a child. Yes, it's a child, but what we're doing inadvertently is teaching that child to be disrespectful. That's one. Two, jumping to conclusions. Nobody likes anybody to make false assumptions or wrong assumptions. Why don't you ask rather than jump to conclusions? That's the whole essence of having conversations. You think something is going on, ask. Unfortunately, a number of parents are too scared to confront their children. Now, when I say confront, I'm not looking at it from a negative point of view or from a forceful point of view, but to say, look, I've been wondering. Some are so concerned about their children being their friends that they don't even want to rock the boat a bit. I can smell something. Do you smoke cigarette? Ask the question rather than jumping to conclusion. And when you don't ask, there's a tendency for the thing to be magnified in your mind. You then imagine that it is not only cigarette, the boy or the girl is smoking other things. You're coming back late. Where are you coming from? Rather than concluding that she went to have sex with a boy. That is the second issue. Then third, she says they care more about their reputation, like me getting pregnant. One of the saddest things I heard was when I was talking to this young girl, and she said to me, Mrs. Babatunde, do you know that if I got pregnant today, my parents will not be as concerned about the fact that I'm pregnant, but the fact that I've disgraced them? What she was saying, in essence, was that they're not thinking about how my life has probably been ruined, how it will affect my academics, my future, and different things. But they're thinking about what would the people in my society say? What will other parents think of me? They're thinking about how it will reflect on them. Am I saying it will not reflect on them? Of course it would. But that should not be our primary focus. If a child begins to feel that you are more concerned about your reputation than their well-being, there's no way they will relate with you the way we would want them to. Because they feel, after all, I'm not that important. The only person that's important to you is you. And that is part of the argument some of them put forward when they want to pursue careers. They say, look, I know my parents probably may not mind, but they're thinking, what will other people think? We're even going too far. When we talk about fashion sense and hairstyles and things like that, they know that their parents on their own may not necessarily have an issue with it. But because other people would look at them somehow. For me, I'm not saying we should discountenance what other people think in its entirety, but it doesn't look very authentic to our children. We don't appear as very authentic when we tolerate one thing when people are not around, and then we frown at it when we're in public. If you're proud about something, then be proud of it totally. If we need to talk up to our children about things that we're not comfortable about, then let's talk to them about it. So what have I said in essence on today's episode? It is disrespectful when we butt in when people are talking, and we should avoid it. Not just because we feel, okay, it's our child we're talking to, but because we're mirroring to them and they're going to do it somewhere. That's one. Two, we should stop jumping into conclusions. If you're unsure about anything, ask questions. And three, our reputation should not be more important than the well-being of our child. Both are equally important, and we must remember to strike that balance. You see, when we're talking to our children and we want them to project us properly, we do that by telling them the things that are important, by reinforcing the values that are really important. Respect is not just one of it. And you see, like I said earlier, when it has nothing to do with social standing. So how do your children talk to your driver, for instance? How do they talk to the housekeeper? It's important. How do you talk to those people that you consider subordinate to you? You're projecting something to them. A lot of the important things we do are usually done very unconsciously. It's good when we're all prepared and we know that, okay, we're standing in front of the gallery and we must act in a particular way. What happens when we think nobody is looking? Those are really the important things, and those are the things that our children are picking. Until we come your way next time, please keep reinforcing values as you parent in this digital age.